Hi there. Second round of the SAT review packet that we did earlier. This one will cover problems starting with number 6. We got through number 5, the oxygen one. Number 6 should be really quick. It shouldn't take much practice here. You know, you've got your rectangle. 150 and 200 are the dimensions. What is the approximate length of the fence? There we go. You know, it shouldn't take too long. It's just a question of how you add them all together to get your answer of J 700 on that one. So that one's pretty quick to get through. Number 7, just kind of a general understanding of the distributive property for number 7. And when you have this, one of the things inside here, because this is addition and subtraction, it really does, the parentheses have no effect on anything inside this. So you could probably get rid of the parentheses and then just distribute. So A times B is AB plus A times C is AC minus A times D, which will give you that, which is letter A, and that's the answer, letter A for that one. All right, so they sort of try to confuse you with the parentheses, but you really need to know addition and subtraction. Because of the properties of addition and subtraction, you didn't need the parentheses there. Number 8. I want to spend at least a minute on number 8. If 4x plus 3 equals 9x minus 4, we're trying to just find the value of x. And so in the video I showed you a couple weeks ago, one of the things they talked about was taking numbers from your answer choices. And your answer choices, if you look on your paper, F is 7/5, G is 5/7, H is 7/13, J is 1/5, and K is -1/5. If you substitute those in, it's going to become a really difficult problem to solve, because then you're dealing with some bizarre fractions here in front. The goal on this one is to just solve it. And I know that when you're going to take the test, it's going to be hard to determine when should I substitute and when you shouldn't. Well, look at one of the fractions, 7/5. If you're going to substitute 7/5 here, the denominator is going to be 5, and you're not going to really get any canceling. And that should be your indication when not to do a substitution with the fractions. So just kind of solve it this way. Bring 4x to the other side. So we get 5x minus 4 equals 3. Plus 4 plus 4, 7 equals 5x. X equals 7/5. And there's letter F, 7/5 on that. So it's just a fraction you would do out of Algebra 1. Sorry, not a fraction, a problem. That's an Algebra 1 problem. But I wanted to connect it to the video we saw, because they encourage you to, when you have variables, to just substitute in and see which ones work. But sometimes it's easy enough that you can just solve it instead. All right, so that's number 8. Number 9 talks about having a sequence right there, and you need to fit in two numbers so that the difference between the consecutive numbers is the same. And folks, the best way to do this is a guess and check on this. And this is one where you would want to start in the middle and choose the middle answer, and then you can adjust up or down depending on what you need. So just pick the middle one, which is C, 25 and 33. What's the difference here? 8, 8, and 8. And there we go, there's our answer right away, C, 25 and 33. Obviously, if you picked a different answer, you would get 7, 10, and 7, and that is not correct. You could adjust it a different way, because this was 7 and this was 10. You would need to adjust it down and make this number bigger. So there is number 9, just a guess and check one. And you're going to get those on the SAT, and those are the ones we hope that you can get and get easily to get some points on that. All right, let's do number 10. Number 10 deals with if x to the third equals 64. I'm going to stop at that point because I want to make sure we're on the same page about cubic situations. X to the third. What number times itself 3 times equals 64? 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. And there's our answer, that x is equal to 4 in number 10. And so then we're going to need to substitute that in for the next one. But the idea of perfect cubes, 1, 8, 27, 64. I'm taking the time to write these for you so that you can visually see the perfect cubes. And this would equal 1 to the third power, 2 to the third power, 3 to the third power, 4 to the third power, and so on. Okay? So that's our kind of general skill review, because you have to know that. You could go into your graphing calculator, and I don't have a picture of it right now, but if you go in on the left-hand side, very left-hand column, there's a button called the math button. And if you go into the math, it will give you, there's a, that will let you do the cubic root of a number. And then you could just substitute in this case, 64, and you would get 4. So there's number 10. So we can tell right away that x is equal to 4. Then all we do in number 10 is substitute back in. So 4 squared plus the square root of 4. 4 squared, folks, please remember that that's 16. Notice that one of your answers, well, I'll get to that in a second. 4 squared is 16 plus the square root of 4 is 2. So our answer is 18, which is H. But if you did 4 times 2 and got 8, 10 is one of the mistaken answers. So that is something to look out for on that. So this is an if-then problem. If there is something, we solve for x, and that's what we did at the beginning, then we substitute it back in and start to see. So, that's how we do that one. 11 is a formula, and the formula is the volume of a sphere, and they'll always give you the volume of a sphere. Back at the beginning they have that, is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, and then we have to substitute in, we'll use 3.14 for that.